Man, let me tell you something, bro. I'm about to come to your basketball court. I'm going to deflate all your balls. Pause. I'm about to go ahead tie all y'all shoelaces together. I just need to pull up. I need to use the basketball facility shower when I get done. I also need a place to store my shoes so y'all don't mess my stuff up. What? You said what now? Oh, I can't use y'all's facility no more. I mean, y'all know I live like 40 miles away from the gym, right? Yeah. Y'all don't care. You don't care. All right. Never mind. Listen, next time y'all do that shit though, I'm telling you, it's going down, bro. It's going down. That's kind of like what just happened to us over there with the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. said that we're about to start Operation Pursuing Freedom or Pushing Freedom or some name like that. It was basically like we're going to start, whether directly escorting or giving guidance to vessels to get them through the Strait of Hormuz. We're trying to force it open. And we got reports that Saudi Arabia and other countries found out about this, not from us, but from, they were told about it through, I guess, our actions or through the president afterwards. And they were like, you can no longer use our airports to launch and land your aircraft again. Why would you not tell us about this shit? This could escalate. Blase, blase, blah. And then literally within the last 48 hours, things have been going like crazy, bro. I mean, we're seeing a lot of kinetic activity just seemingly starting to spiral out of control in the area. And it's just not making me feel real good about my good old gas prices. First thing I saw was, according to Jennifer Griffin at Fox News, she says that the U.S. military just carried out strikes on Iran's Quish port on their Quish Island in Bandar Abbas. And senior official tells me, but they're saying that this not count as restarting the war. Y'all know that the enemy get a vote too, right? Like, y'all know that the enemy get a vote too. And I don't know if we're trying to say it's not restarting the war so we don't have to start that 60-day clock again, even though I don't even think the 60-day clock has necessarily stopped yet. But we're getting all sorts of intelligence that the kinetic activity is going down even more. And I'm going to show you a couple of videos of what's going on over there overseas right now. But before we jump into that, we're getting intelligence from the CIA that kind of reports that Iran can withstand this U.S. naval blockade for like 3 or 4 months. Not only that, but they have upwards of 75% of their pre-war inventories of mobile launchers and 70% of its pre-war stockpiles of missiles. This is a CIA report. I don't know if we got CIA assets in the country, if Israel has assets in the country and they're sharing intelligence, but whatever the case may be, we spend all these munitions, we treasure blood, assets, and there's a possibility that not only could they withstand 3 or 4 months of a U.S. naval blockade, because I mentioned this before, guys, that 75% of their GDP, of Iran's GDP, does not come through the Strait of Hormuz. They have other ways of trade. Iraq, the Caspian Sea, Pakistan, Turkmenistan. They have a ton of different ways that they are able to still get medicine, medical supplies, crops, also food, oil from the north, from the Caspian Sea out. There's a lot of different options for them. So we're really diminishing 25% of their GDP, and they seem like they could withstand that for 3 or 4 months. That's like big numbers. That's like, how long do we want to continue to spend $2 billion a day? Plus, I didn't even talk about a report where we lost upwards of over 200 sites were possibly struck and assets were lost by Iranian attacks so far since the start of this war. Now, we're seeing anti-aircraft fire scenes over the Iran's capital, Tehran. This is literally just a couple of hours ago, about an hour ago, really. And it just seems that as we're starting to see more kinetic activity, we're seeing anti-air, and this is being reported from citizens there and, of course, Iran State TV. So take this video with a grain of salt. But just know that the possibility that this stuff could be going down again, I once again say that the enemy also gets a vote. OK, so if the enemy also gets a vote, we can't necessarily say this does not start the war again. OK, we pinky promise. Also, Iran says that 3 U.S. Navy destroyers near the Strait of Hormuz were targeted by the Iranian Navy. Now, reportedly, allegedly, There was an Iranian oil tanker trying to break or pierce the U.S. naval blockade. These destroyers allegedly attacked it. And fast boats are also anti-ship missiles, seemingly maybe fired from land, were fired towards these destroyers. Iran State TV saying that they hit them. I don't believe that. I'm just telling you what they said. U.S. Navy is not even confirming that these vessels were attacked. So it's probably somewhere in the middle. There probably is a likelihood that there was a fired upon and they didn't hit shit. Okay. I think that that's probably closer to being true than either side's approach of one ignoring and one saying everything is big and bad. So what does all this stuff mean? This means that the congestion that we're continuing to see in the Strait of Hormuz, all this stuff that we're continuing to have to look at, it is a possibility that it just continues to go on in perpetuity, that we just see it forever. Like there may not be an end in sight. I mean, the congestion that we're seeing in the Strait right now is just tremendous. And not only are we thinking about our higher prices, I was just filming a video the other day because I was flabbergasted as I went to fill up Mrs. X's vehicle. We got back from Florida. We went to Disney World and gas was $3.69. I woke up the next day, gas was $3.82. I was like, I'll get my wife some gas the next day. The next day, which was yesterday, gas was $4.29 a gallon, the same exact gas station. And we just had some of the highest gas prices in the last 4 years nationwide at $4.56 a gallon ish. My pockets is being slapped, bro. They being like stomped, curb stomped. And so I want to come to you guys and just think about the perspective of pricing and just how the yin and yang and stuff, and no one's thinking about this in our favor. A U.S. trade court just said that the tariffs that the president wanted to put a 10% broad tariff was not justified under the 1970s trade law that was invoked by the administration. Now, the thing about that is that was a tariff put in place after the old tariffs were found to not be constitutional and breaking the law. And now the tariffs are being refunded to people. I got some tariffs refunded back to me because I had some stuff imported. And imagine for things that I do, the little inky dinky stuff I sell on my website. And if I raise the price and I had to pay the tariff and now I get the refund, do I lower the price of those items? Do I try to refund the people back their stuff for the higher prices they're paid? That's a conundrum. And for me, I'm talking about the difference of like a little bit less than $200. If you're a big corporation and you're always on the yin and yang of these tariffs, you're selling electronics, you're selling petroleum-based items and rubbers and whatever, do you drop prices back down? With the way everything is going, no. So gas prices about to be high. Shit that gets imported about to be high as hell. We're always going to be getting slapped with this stuff. And we're kind of like the forgotten person. We're kind of like the forgotten man. So I once again stress, I just did a video earlier about the Hanta. We're going to call it the Hanta. And the things I think you should be prepping for that. But when it comes to your prep, when it comes to this war, you got to stay vigilant about your stabilized fuel supply that you're able to maintain. Whatever the maximum is that you can maintain, plan on holding on to that, okay? We also need to continue to think about any other supplies that you may need when it comes to N95 masks, when it comes to solar generation, solar power stations, when it comes to clothing items or storage containers or non-perishable foods or anything that is, before the price just continues to get out of hand, if you're able to come up with storage solutions for that stuff, just go ahead and do it, bro. Just go ahead and do it. When does this kinetic activity stop? I told you, let's just take the L and go ahead and pull up out of there. Is that going to happen? I don't know. But it does kind of bring me pause to know that they still got 75% of their mobile launchers, 70% of their missiles. They can go for a while. The only solution is go balls deep with a ground invasion, which I don't want us to do. We're going ahead, pull out and take that L and declare victory somehow. I don't know. I just want to go and get up out of there. And maybe over the next 7 to 8 to 9 months, gas prices can come back down. But what do I know? First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.